The sky falls with a dragon. The world ends this way. Whoa. Hi. Would you like to buy some insurance? Gosh darn you. I don't think I can finishing below while you're there. Only complaint towards Rex's character design before his master form. Doesn't Cloudsea get very cold? Why is Rex have his skin showing? But they just have because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a good game. I mean, doesn't like the parts of his diving suit like close up so that like his skin isn't showing anymore when it's like all latched together? Or am I losing my mind? Unless he is just like in his shorts under the Cloudsea, which he could well be. I might just run around in Dark Blast is what I might honestly do here. Also, is this just like the, we're getting back to like present day looking stuff? Look, this is just like a modern day basketball court. Wait, is that the opening of the Shadow Lord's castle over there? That thingamabob? That looks like the entrance area when we get to Shadow Lord's castle, doesn't it? Are we just fighting out here? For the challenge mode, use Shulk to avoid KO attacks from level 170 monsters. Shulk is definitely real strong, so I very much liked having him in the party. I think the intro underwater, he was fully clothed. Yeah, could be wrong though, huh? It's Detroit in 2009. Oh no, a really crummy place to live. Has that? I've only seen it once, but has anybody ever seen the Kentucky Fried Movie, which is one of the strangest movies I've ever watched? But there's this one scene where I don't remember. It was set in, this movie was all over the place. It never stayed in like one place for too long. But I believe there was this one bit that was set in China, and there was this like American spy that was captured by this like Chinese overlord, and he's being brought before this conqueror, this lord, whatever the hell, this big head honcho guy, and he's just like, do whatever you want to me, like nothing you can say or do to me can like strike fear into me. Like, nothing you can do scares me. And then the guy goes, take him to Detroit. And the guy goes, no, not Detroit. Please, anything but that. As they drag him away. And then there's this other guy that comes up that they behead. And then he's like, now take him to be tortured. Anyway, it's a weird movie. It's pretty wacky. Yeah, it's a typical basketball match in Detroit. If I had to summarize the plot, I don't think that I could. I genuinely do not think I could. It is all over the place. It's a fever dream, is what it is, to summarize it, quite frankly. So there's that. Anyway. But yeah, I never did too much of the challenge mode, because again, that came out after I became a content creator and my focus started shifting. Was the case. So I think the most challenge mode stuff I did is when I did my series on the channel in like 2019, which I did a decent smidge, but not like a whole lot. Challenge mode will be rolling out for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 here coming up, and I'll probably do like a decent bit more of that. Because, you know, as a new release in the Xenoblade Chronicles series, part of me is almost tempted to 100% it. I know that I at least want to get all the character ascension quests done, because, you know, the characters are really charming, the classes are really cool, so I might want to do that. I'll think about doing all the side quests. We shall see. But honestly, as I've been making my video essay on Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I'm honestly starting to wonder if I feel more compelled to go back to like play more of Xenoblade Chronicles X and bring that closer to 100% completion than I do 3. Is what I'm honestly starting to wonder. Is kind of the thing there. Also, my video essay on Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is probably going to be like so long and take so long to get out there, considering the story script alone has been like 29 pages, that my current plan is to just like be working on it here and there, but not release it until the DLC is fully out. And then my video essay can just like cover everything, you know, including the DLC story. And then I'll have it like all in one comprehensive, like one definitive video. I'm not one of those content creators that's like, ah, yes, let's milk this topic for like making an individual video for every single tiny little thing, which I guess would also be like a more consumable way. I just like waiting until I have like the full picture and then like make like one definitive video for any specific game, you know? And I might want to do that with 3. So there's that. Friend who's a Cyberpunk fan, boy told you that Detroit got nuked and you burst out laughing in Cyberpunk lore. Is that really such a bad thing? No, just kidding. But yeah, still at the beginning, but still feel the gameplay of 3 is the best of the series. Oh yeah, the gameplay is freaking great. I would have to say that the best of the series would probably be Xenoblade Chronicles X, just because of how customizable it is. Like, I mean, 3 is most customizable in terms of overall party. X is just customizable in terms of, like, you and, like, your skills and stuff, I guess. So I guess 3 is, like, the most customizable overall. But also just being able to, like, you know, design your own skill, fly around the world, adventure across this open world, stuff like that. There being no loading screens. So, in terms of open world gameplay that really pulls me in, that's gotta go to X. In terms of just like general combat and party configurations, then maybe 3. How's it going, Hawks? Things are going pretty alrighty here. We're trying to wrap up NieR Replicant stuff. I'm trying to collect all the weapons so I can beat this game and be done with it already. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is best because I'm mech. Well, mechs are one thing, but just exploring the massive open world, all the freaking enemies everywhere. The fact that that was like a Wii U game, and it's so much larger than something like 3, you know, in terms of just like the general thing that you're going around exploring, is awesome. Like that, I believe that was one of 3 games that felt like they were, like, this was before I was a content creator. One of 3 games that really felt like they were calling to me to be explored when I wasn't playing them. The other 2 being Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That was Xenoblade Chronicles X were the 3 games that had worlds that felt like they were calling to me to be explored. You know, was the case. But yeah, general combat and gameplay could well be 3. But I do have complaints with one of the key factors of gameplay in Xenoblade 3, namely the chain attacks. I feel like my favorite chain attack system was probably Xenoblade Chronicles 2, just because it had clear-cut rules that if you know, played the same way each time, it would be the same outcome. Like, how you're playing determines what's going to be happening. Whereas Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the orders that you're going to end up getting are just going to be like a random 3. And the hero order, whichever hero order you have available, it's going to be random whether you get it or not. The hero order, when you do that, it's not going to eat into the chain attack gauge. So, like, you can do 3 orders and the hero order. So you basically get the hero order for free, you could say, without it consuming any of the chain attack gauge. But sometimes the RNG will just screw with you and not even give you the option of doing the hero order throughout the whole chain attack. And it just completely screws up your chain attack due to, like, no fault of your own. Just getting awful RNG. So I really, really don't like that aspect of chain attacks. I really wish that they would just give you, like, every order straight up in a list, and it's like, figure it out. Figure out, like, some crazy combination, instead of being like, how is RNG gonna screw me this time? Try to make the best of, like, RNG messing with me. My goodness, this is gonna take forever, but I'm also trying to conserve my healing items, so, like, this is gonna be what we're doing. But yeah, once the full YouTube playlist is out, you will rewatch Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and count every death that you've had. Oh, jeez. Currently, the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 uploads are going until December 16th. So December 16th will be the finale episode of the story. But I'm still going to be doing post-game, still going to be doing, like, all the DLC and stuff. So it's going to be a good while. And that finale is 140 parts. Like, it's one of the longest series I've ever done on this channel. Of, like, a single game series. The longest series at all that I've ever done. I was about to say would be Assassin's Creed with all those games, but no, I genuinely think it's the Fire Emblem Fodlan Adventures. Most likely, 3 Hopes and 3 Houses is probably the longest series I've ever done. But in terms of a single game, like, that might be one of the longest. It might be the 2nd longest so far, with the longest being Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It'll probably become the 3rd longest after I do more routes of 3 Hopes. And get that longer. That one goes up to 130 right now. And heck, NieR Replicant might go up to 100, considering it went up to, like, did I say 76? It might have been 78. Hold on. The last stream, how many parts did it? It might have actually been 78. I think I was saying 76 before. Let's see here. If I check my folder. Yeah, 78. So without counting this stream, there's already 78 parts of NieR Replicant. So I've been, lately I've been getting more and more over 100 part series on this channel. It's crazy. Why am I playing so many games that take so long? My goodness gracious. Yeah, I like the elemental orbs more than the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 chain attack system. Okay. We agree on that. It's been going, had a lovely hurricane come and say hi to you, but survived that dart storm. Jeez. I am glad to hear that, like, it turned out pretty alrighty, but yeah, still sucks to have a hurricane going through. living here in the land of Canada, I never have to worry about something like that. And I can't imagine how scary that kind of thing would be. I know last year with Guzma's evacuation to Houston there, that was something real scary there. And heck, he freaking got this Time Gear necklace for me that's around my neck right now while he was on evacuation from the hurricane, and it's like, wow. Okay. My goodness gracious. Still waiting for the Three Hopes DLC announcement. Don't tell me they'll just not be doing it. I'd be very surprised if they didn't do it, considering every other Nintendo Warriors game has had DLC. So like, why would the fourth Nintendo Warriors game specifically not get DLC? Like, maybe they're waiting for Fire Emblem and Engage to come out, and then like the DLC will add Fire Emblem, Engage, and Divorce characters or something. Maybe, I don't know. That's an idea. I mean, for Age of Calamity, didn't it take a little while before its DLC got announced? Because like, that game was out for a decent while before a Nintendo Direct came out and was like, oh, by the way, DLC's coming for this. I think, off the top of my head, I could be wrong, maybe it was announced like really soon after, but off the top of my head, my memory tells me at least that there was a decent span of time between Age of Calamity and its DLC announcement, I think. But, you know, Age of Calamity released in the 1 year, and then its DLC came out in 2 distinct waves the following year. So maybe there'll be something like that with Three Hopes, where they'll announce it like late this year or early next year, sometime after Engage, to like keep Fire Emblem content going, and maybe it'll be like 2 waves that come out in 2023. Maybe? Nintendo Warriors games are so good. They are, honestly. I love them. They're freaking fantastic, and my favorite part about them is the music. That's my personal opinion. Not sure if anyone will still care for Three Hopes once Engage is really... Yeah, that's a potential concern there. Like, maybe they don't want to take the Pokemon approach of release one game, and then after it's been out for like the tiniest little smidge, forget about it, we're moving on to the next game. They might not want to take that approach, because like Fire Emblem has never really taken that kind of approach. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that whole situation there. I guess we shall see. But yeah, it would be really strange for Three Hopes to not have DLC. I'd be really disappointed if Three Hopes didn't have DLC, but a small part of me would also be relieved, where it's like, yes, please don't put any more Fodlan content onto my shoulders. I already have so much. Also, speaking of Three Hopes, I've been talking about doing a short New Game Plus playthrough just in like the same difficulty or something like that of Scarlet Blaze Black Eagles, just to do the smidge that I didn't do of, you know, going against Byleth and seeing the story differences and stuff. And seeing the Arvel paralog that you apparently get exclusively if you do New Game Plus, so that you can get Arvel and choose to go against Byleth. So, like, may as well do that in one fell swoop anyway, since Scarlet Blaze apparently has the most story differences by going against Byleth. And, you know, I can get the Arvel paralog that way. So, in Three Houses, I did my throwaway save file as, like, the last playthrough right at the end. But I plan on doing my throwaway save file, like, as the second playthrough in Three Hopes. Well, I've actually got a file, like, right before the time skip. I was actually able to zoom through really fast. Like, Three Hopes feels way better for replayability than Three Houses. Like, it's a whole nother level. And the replayability of Three Houses sucked. That game pretended it had good replayability when it didn't. The replayability in Three Hopes is actually pretty good. From me replaying Scarlet Blaze, at least, and, like, zooming through. Especially considering I was mostly working on university assignments. I would, like, load up a chapter, and then just put the controller down and let the AI, like, auto-battle to victory on easy mode, and be working on university assignments in the meantime. That's what I did. And I managed to get, like, through, like, pretty soon. Like, pretty quickly. It didn't take a whole lot of time. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat right there. So I started out the file on hard, but then I realized you can change difficulty at any time, so I just switched it to easy. That throwaway file's on casual. I'll do, like, further playthroughs on classic. Classic and casual are the one things that you can't change mid-playthrough. But anyway, my throwaway save file is prepared. It's at the ready. Like, at any point, I can just throw Three Hopes into my Switch, go through a whole bunch of support conversations that we didn't get before, start, like, the second half of the... start part 2 of the story, get, like, that little smidge, go back to playing it a little bit on my own time until, like, more new content crops up again. So it's on my mental to-do list to do one of these days, because it is just at the ready. The two big things on my mental to-do list nowadays are finish off Live Alive, which I should be able to at any point now, and the that little smidge in my throwaway save file of 3 Hopes, which that additional playthrough there of just zooming through probably isn't gonna go past 20 parts. Like, I see 20 being like the absolute maximum. So it's gonna be short, at least, you know. Let's see here. I mean, 3 mainline games in 1 year is an absolutely healthy release schedule. Yeah, good old Pokemon. Gage has Lynn, aka the best Fire Emblem character ever as a spirit. Actually, don't know. People might forget 3 houses. I mean, maybe it'll have Lynn. Wasn't Lynn one of the ones in like the beginning of the trailer when it was showing like that glass mural thingamabob? I'll be getting some additional orbs at the end of this anyway, so may as well. I think Lynn was one of them, right? There were characters like Korn and Byleth that were there as well. The only ones that we've directly seen in gameplay are Sigurd, Marth, and Celica. But judging by that glass thingamabob at the beginning when it's coming in with like the storybook lore, we could see characters like was Lynn on there? I think Hector was, if I recall. I don't remember. The game needs a DLC with that open story ending. They can't leave you hanging. Yeah, the open story ending was a little bit of a letdown. Played like 2.5 routes in a few weeks. You normally take ages to play through games, so it really speaks to how good the game is paced. Yeah, like so much better than 3 houses. I genuinely feel like the ideal way to experience the story of like Fire Emblem's Fodlan adventures is to play the pre-time skip of 3 houses and then just stop playing and play 3 Hopes instead, honestly. That's kind of the way that I'm starting to feel about it. Or do like 1 full playthrough of 3 houses and then just don't touch 3 houses ever again and play 3 Hopes instead, is what I kind of feel like. The optimal way to experience Fodlan: play Fire Emblem 3 houses, Blue Lions, and then never touch the game again and play 3 houses instead. That's kind of the way that I feel. Play 3 houses instead, play 3 Hopes instead. That's how I feel. Take a while. People in Detroit 2009 are strong. Yeah, they sure are. I could probably get in and do this to make it go by faster, but like I worry about getting hit. But yeah, yeah, could well be. Do I feel confident enough to parry any of their hits? I wonder. I mean, kind of hard to see what's going on through here sometimes. Well. Wow. I'll probably afford to use some medicinal herbs, but I don't want to go too ham, you know? I mean, how many do I have? 8 more. I'll probably be fine. Because I'll probably get a bunch when I defeat them anyway, right? Probably. But yeah, so this is apparently required to beat the game. Because I need them weapons. I need them. Or else the ending doesn't change and I don't get the better ending, I guess. Ah, that's another one down. My targeting changed. Cloud route in 3 houses is better though. The Edelgard route, however, is way better on 3 Hopes. Not sure about Dimitri yet. What, you think that like the 3 houses Claude route is better than the 3 Hopes one? Was the 3 Hopes one not all that great? Because all the 3 houses Claude route is just Silver Snow with Claude put into it. So is the 3 Hopes Claude route really not all that great? Scarlet Blaze was definitely way better than a Black Eagles. I'd be surprised if Blue Lions was better, because this Dimitri story in 3 houses I actually liked. Actually quite enjoyed that. Ah. Let me tell you what, this on your tombstone, what this events? Or just the quote of Isluxo? Oh yeah. That's something that someone was talking about in my history class recently. But that's neither here nor there. Another thing that was being talked about in my history class recently, so a couple days ago in history class, you know, this is a history class studying the understanding of the body in the Middle Ages, and we recently went through this book that just went through, you know, individual parts from like top down essentially. And let's just say this eventually led to a discussion where our professor revealed to us that apparently he is one of the leading experts in the area of Jesus's foreskin. So that's what my professor's an expert on. So that's pretty cool. I bet you, but you'll never meet anyone else that once had a professor being an expert on that. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, we had a little bit of a discussion on that in history class. Thanks for that information. No problem. So when he was telling the class that he's apparently one of the leading experts on that topic, it made the class laugh a decent bit. The Europe's Claude route was okay, but pretty similar to Edelgard's. That's unfortunate there. But yeah, love the fact that the Middle Ages had like 12 foreskins. Did they now? Because, you know, he was telling us that that is, you know, a part that does exist out there in the world. Was taken and exists out in the world. But I guess there were just like a bunch of imitations and stuff. But yeah, it must well have been to be that many. But yeah, he's told us some interesting stories in that class. When we were having a dedicated discussion on like the hands and touch and that sensation there, we talked a little bit about the mouth and people seeing touch as, you know, an important religious kind of thing where it's like imparting divinity in a way, and kissing could be seen as something like that. So apparently, I believe he was saying that this was in France, where it's like the crown of thorns is held, and is held like in a glass case, where I think, like, I might not, just in case I didn't remember perfectly, like, don't quote me on any of this, but apparently it exists in like some glass case, anyone can see it, but they only bring it out like once a month during like some service for people to see. And he wanted to see it, so he apparently pretended to be like a French Catholic during these this service. And when the time came that the crown of thorns in its glass case was being brought out, everyone kind of gathered in a line and was coming up and kissing it. And apparently this was still like middle of COVID times and stuff, and you know, it wasn't exactly being very clean, and he didn't want to you know, suddenly deviate from what everyone else was doing. So apparently he came up, kneeled like everyone else, and kissed the case, and then immediately went and disinfected his mouth like crazy. So there was that. Oh, that's a hitbox that comes out very early. I thought you were getting ready to like strike or something like that. But yeah, 1,000 years, and this is what Jesus is hearing about nowadays. Yeah. My oh my, boopity bop. Yeah, so that was something interesting there. It goes on? Are you actually kidding me? Is it just this one? I could have sworn I heard someone spawn like that should be behind me right now. Well, I mean, one of your favorite stories about the Middle Ages is the synod where they declared a dead pope heretical. So they dragged his corpse on the stage, put him into the culprit chair, convicted him, then dragged his corpse from the stage. What? I haven't heard that one. We've heard some interesting stories in this class, though. One interesting one was this guy who was supposed to be executed, but his execution failed. I believe it was by hanging, and by the time that they cut down the rope, he was still alive. So apparently he ran to the church and declared that, like, oh my goodness, oh my good gracious, I'm alive. It must be a sign from God that I'm supposed to live. And a king was coming through at the time, or whoever like the head honcho ruler was. And he appealed this to him, and he was like, you know what? Sure, your execution failed. You may live. You may now be alive. And it was during a discussion that we had where it's like, you know, these head honcho rulers can be the bringers of death, but they can also be the givers of life in this way. And they can be seen as like holy beings in this way. And, you know, it kind of played into, you know, those who are kings are supposed to be the ones closest to God and such. Wow, that possess the divine right to this power, you know? Detroit will claim another victim, I guess so. So there's that. Many pews. Much of it. There have been some very interesting things that we've read about in this class. I already did my presentation in the class. Everyone has to like present / lead discussion on some dedicated reading each week. So we always have like a reading each week. And each week there will be someone like leading discussion until everyone's like led discussion at least once throughout the term. I was the crazy maniac that decided to go first to like get it done with. Yeah, what are we gonna get? Bible too. And well, it was a little bit difficult to understand the the reading that I was leading discussion on. If I recall the name of the author, I believe it was Linda Kuhn, Medieval Bodies, in case anyone wants to look it up and try reading it themselves. I could look up the exact title if anyone wants to know. But there were some interesting things in there. Yeah, I actually had a lot of fun leading discussion. I had a difficult time understanding a lot of the material. So the way that the professor made it sound was that, like, oh yeah, you can do like a PowerPoint presentation and then just have like 5 main discussion questions or something like that. But I, after reading that, I was like, I'm not going to be enough of an expert on this to be able to lead discussion on it. Like, to be able to do a presentation on it, that is. I could lead discussion on it. So instead, my approach was just to make like a Word document, jot down quotes and things that were interesting to me, and then just talk about them. And it worked great. I didn't even get halfway through my material. It actually worked out splendidly. And now it seems like that's kind of the approach that the other the other groups are gonna be doing, like, after leading from my example, I guess, is the thing. So we'll see if anybody actually does do like a PowerPoint presentation by the end, after that was the example that I said as like the first presenter. And it seems to be going well. It actually seems to lead discussion well. Like, you know, there's some classes where everyone just did a 90-minute presentation, which is boring as hell. Yeah, I can imagine that being really boring. This is like 90 minutes of lead discussion. And it actually goes pretty well. But anyway, some of the, I read some very interesting things in it about like monastery practices and customs back then. Like, for example, if there was, let's say some misdemeanor. Let's say one of the monks felt like, how do I phrase this in a way that doesn't say what it is, but is evident what it is? Is there any way that I can put a comedic twist on it? I don't know if I can. If any one of the, if there was an incident where a monk would be foul with another monk, I guess. Let's say, do the unspeakable. Get very lonely and very horny. You know what I'm talking about. If something like that happened, apparently the punishment would be stricter for the victim than the one that actually committed the act, because the way that they saw the victim was like, well, guess you shouldn't have been so feminine, because they really looked down on femininity back then. Like, masculinity was this awesome, great thing that everyone should strive to be like, but femininity was this awful thing that you shouldn't be like. Don't be like that. So, if someone was the victim of that, it's like, well, maybe it shouldn't have been like so feminine and alluring and stuff. That's shame on you. So it's like, wow, that's pretty jarring. Yeah, I gotta go. Good night, guys. Alrighty. Have a good rest of the night. Is a sandwich. Right as we start talking about this out of nowhere subject. My goodness gracious. Yeah, they had that, but like, you know, the monks who were put up on this great pedestal were the well, for the most part, it was the male monks. There were some women that were put up on this pedestal that were typically virgin women, the Vestal Virgins they were called, because virginity was seen as like not a commonplace thing. It was seen as, you know, you're something strange and kind of different here, but it wasn't looked down on as like something where it's like, oh, you're strange and weird and we should look down on you. It was praised up because of Virgin Mary. And it's like, ah, these other people that are like pursuing virginity, they're great then. They're like these super holy beings and stuff. So like if you needed to be guided through an area that had like demons or something like that, or unholy spirits, then freaking bring a Vestal Virgin with you to escort you, and that'll ward away like the evilness because they're like so holy. So there was that. There was that, interestingly enough. But fast forward to 2022 and then just uses virgin as the go-to insult. Oh yeah, and there's that. But back then it was like, wow, you're a virgin? That's crazy. Whoa, you're so cool and stuff. Anyway, yeah, very different nowadays. I must say. Many pip-pews. Tis a interesting class. One of the most interesting sections in this book that I was reading there, one of the most interesting quotes. Oh, wait, I should, you know what I should do? I should actually pull up the exact quote. It was something that made me giggle to myself. Let me pull up the document of like all the interesting quotes that stood out to me. It feels like a while. Last stream I did of NieR Replicant, it was a boss that was taking so long that I just put 2 rubber bands over my controller and I just played a different video game while the boss slowly died. I'm almost tempted to do that for this. This is gonna keep on taking a while. Hold on, let's see here. Let's switch over to my university account here and get to that document of just like the interesting quotes. Let's see here. Yeah, discussion here. You know how there'll be those things where it's like you hear about it once and it makes you laugh, and then you'll just like randomly think about it out of nowhere and it'll make you like chuckle just completely out of the blue when you randomly think about it again in like a public setting? Yeah, this is that for me. Let's see. Where was it? Maybe if I control F to track it down. Let's see here. Here it is. So again, if anyone wants to read it, freaking Linda Kuhn, Medieval Bodies, I believe. Page 126. The anus of a monk is a natural entryway for the devil. Therefore, leaving that opening in the human body unguarded threatens the health of the entire monastic community. Essentially, when they say that the anus is a natural entry point for the devil, what they really mean is the regions of other monks, essentially, is that they would be penetrated by other monks, that these evil instincts would take over. They would be taken over by the devil and be tempted to penetrate the other monks, essentially. So they warned against the devil there. So guard your anuses, lads, or else you threaten the health of the entire monastery. God, you assholes. So there was that. And because of that, they would very, very seldomly take baths. They would have like very strict times that you would do so and abstain from it a lot of the time. That was one of the reasons why. The other reason why they would abstain from baths is because they saw that if you weren't taking baths, that it's like, wow, you're like a super healthy dudo then. Like baths are something for like the young and old and sick. But if you're not having to take baths, then that means that you're like this pillar of abstinence and stuff. And wow, you don't have to do that stuff. So that was part of the reason. And the other reason is because they didn't want the devil entering through their assholes. So those are the 2 reasons why they seldomly took baths. The whole demons enter through the open body parts is the reason why you say bless you when somebody sees. Yeah, there's technically that. I mean, I just say like, you know, German Gesundheit is the thing. It could also just be because I have German background. I had a relative visiting from Germany semi-recently, and after a sneeze and I said Gesundheit, she was like, oh, are you just saying that because you know, we're here visiting? I was like, no, that's just what I say. You know, there's just that. Many papews. I'm tempted to double rubber band this, like the way that I had this going before. I don't have both my rubber bands here right now though. Unless I have another one in the drawer. Wait, is this a rubber band? No, that's a cable. Huh. I know where I put the other rubber band. Another bass band saying Gesundheit. Heck yeah. I'm gonna run to the other room and get my other rubber band. All right, can we be a rubber band video gaming? Can I get like the loop going? Let's see here. So I gotta remember how I did this. I believe I unplugged it so I could put the rubber band like through the cable. And then I looped it around back like that and over onto the control stick to be holding that way. Oh great, the frame rate's dying. Oh great, it's one of these times. Oh boy. Well, the frame rate will fix itself eventually. And then the second rubber band, I would put around the top of the controller, over the trigger. something like this-ish. Hey! But is this a cycle where they're not gonna hit me? Does this work? I kind of gotta pull the control stick down a little bit. Ooh. Oh, and I gotta manually kind of adjust my route here. Rubber band kill the frame rate, makes sense. Oh, now my loops are a little bit too small. Hold on. So if I start from like here or something. I don't think I can do it with this one. Because they move. It's not like that one boss that like stuck in the center doing nothing and just stayed still and was a big target. These guys actually move around and are gonna mess up my circle. So I don't think I can do the rubber. Oh, gosh dang it, the frame rate. So I don't think I can do the rubber band method like I did with that one boss last time. I don't think I can just put it down and go play a completely different video game. My goodness gracious. Low frame rate life. Ow. Why does this happen sometimes? Let me click off the game, then click back on and see if that fixes it. Nope. No. No. Oh, it's fixed now. This is such a weird game. I don't know why this happens. Well, it sucks to suck. Yeah, I'm gonna move my monitor a little bit over to the left. See the chat a little bit better. What would be the time where your dad called you and your brother to finish the fight for him while he does something actually interesting? Understandable there. I'm kind of sad that I can't do the rubber band method again though. I let the game play itself for a little bit, and then I play a different video game. Like last stream, we just played Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare was the thing, and I was having some fun with it. But alas, no such luck this time. Gotta slowly do this. I could get in there and directly fight, but you know, I'm gonna lose my health and stuff, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that there. Anyway, but yeah, it's been some interesting reads, some of the things that we've been discussing, and you know, a lot of this has related to Christianity, just because like there was such a blur back then between like science and religion, so a lot of, you know, the understanding of the body would have come from a religious perspective. Was the case. Many papoos. And one of the reasons that we didn't understand that much about the human body back then was because people figured like, the state that your body's in after you die is the state that you'll end up in the afterlife, so you don't get to cut open my body after I die. So there was like, they weren't often able to get like bodies to perform autopsies on to learn from. Usually it'd be like foreigners or criminals or something like that. So couldn't learn from it all that much. Yeah, I'm still streaming and I'm doing loops around here. How's it going today, Guzma? I'm Pepew and we're gathering all the weapons so I can beat the freaking video game. And apparently I gotta do this to get some weapons, so here we are. But yeah, that's what we were talking about. We're talking about the body in the Middle Ages and how people didn't understand it all that well because, you know, not a lot of opportunities to learn was the case. Many pepews. But yeah, it's been tis been an interesting class. Study philosophy, theology, and history. Those topics are extremely interesting to you. Yeah, they're cool. They're really neato. I like learning about that kind of stuff. I might do a minor in history, maybe. Like, I've taken enough history classes that I probably only need to take like a small handful from here to be able to secure a history minor. So it's like, oh, maybe I may as well at this point if I'm close enough anyway. So maybe I will. Come on. That's what happens when I get in there. I take damage. I'm not risking it. Just in case one of them does big damage to me. Well, and some other news. Today I went on a little bit of an adventure to like freaking every place that could be thought of that might potentially sell one of these. None of them did. These are the left-handed threads for my truck, is the thing. So, you know, lots of places had bolts that were very similar to this, but were regularly threaded, not left-hand threaded. Because, like, what kind of maniac would left-hand thread those? Make it, you know, righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. What kind of maniac does that? But apparently that's what they did on this make of truck in the 50s. So, sucks to suck. So, we went to a bunch of different places locally, and find anything was the case. And, well, it's seeming like I am for sure gonna have to order them online to get the replacements there. So, maybe I'll be able to order from Dodge City, which I believe is in Ontario. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get some from the States and pay for like $50 importing and shipping fees, which is insane. So, we'll see what it comes down to. Earlier today, we tried to do some work on the truck. We tried to get this wheel hub off. The wheel hub that has like the 2 snapped bolts stuck in it, so that we can, you know, take it in somewhere and get them removed. And actually use the wheel hub again. Is the case. So, we removed the pins from it, and we had a spare tire for it that had never really been on it. And we were like, yeah, let's attach the spare tire and basically use the spare tire to pull off the entire wheel hub. The spare tire did not quite line up with the holes like it should have. So I drove home, I grabbed one of the regular tires for it that were kept here, brought it over, we attached one of the regular tires, and we could not get that wheel hub off no matter how hard we tried. And we tried really hard. We even put quite a decent bit of heat to it. We used a torch to put heat to it to give it like some more incentive to go. And it didn't. So we're gonna need to have like an actual dedicated wheel hub puller. So as we were going around browsing for those nuts, those bolts, whatever the heck, we also asked about like wheel hub puller rentals, and a couple places did offer it with like the same kind of deal, where the rental is essentially free if you return it, but the deposit is insane. The at both Canadian Tire and Parts and whatever the heck the name of the place is, it's $950 to rent it. The actual wheel hub puller that they have, and each of these places typically only had one rather than multiple. So if it's like rented by someone already, then like you just gotta wait until they bring it back. So you essentially buy it and then return it, and you get like the full deposit back when you return it. So it's essentially a free rental, but you have to spend basically $1,000 to rent it. So, you know, there's that. So don't don't accidentally leave it a little bit overdue, or else you'll lose $1,000 basically. So there's that. So my dad has a friend of his coming in this following week to help us with the brakes, so we'll probably rent a wheel hub puller around that time and see if we can pull off the wheel hub around that time. And you know, we'll rent a wheel hub puller and return it and stuff, and hopefully not lose like $1,000. So I find it surprising that they do this thing where it's essentially like a free rental, assuming you do bring it back, where it's like they literally don't make any revenue unless you keep it, unless you essentially decide to buy it off of them after all. Like, strange system. You'd think that they would have a system where they make revenue in some way without you choosing to buy it, but hey. Yeah, a lot of medical events in Europe actually came through contact with the Muslims in Spain and during the Crusades, because they were more open with it when it came to stuff like autopsies. Huh, I guess that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, well, expensive, sorry, just lurking, making something to eat, you're starving. That's understandable there. But yeah, so as long as I return it in time, get the full deposit back, it's okay. But yeah, don't wanna keep that longer than you need to. Don't want that to be like an overdue book in the library, because my goodness gracious, that would be bad. That'd be real bad. But yeah, I'm also really surprised that they'd only have the one. Like Canadian Tire, for example, the Canadian Tire in our city is like one of the largest Canadian Tires in the world, I'm fairly certain. It's like some main hub headquarters place or something or other for the company. We have a big place with 2 floors. It's a massive location. And they literally, gosh dang it, only have one wheel hub puller that they rent out. They only have one, and that's it. I can't just knock them down, can I? Can I? Can I get this go by quicker like this? He just gets up again. Did I knock one down? No, I didn't. Well, back to dark blasting. So anyway, I started blasting. Hi, chain link. There. When this cuts up into parts later, I guess that this whole section will probably just wind up becoming its own standalone part, I guess. Many pews. But yeah, so we'll get the wheel hub pulled off. We'll get the broken bolts taken out of there. We'll get the tires replaced. I'll order some other bolts online since they're apparently not available locally. We'll get the brakes fixed. We'll make sure the wiper motor's properly working. It might already work. I installed it with my little cousin semi-recently, but we won't be able to know whether it works until we actually bring some fuel over there and fire it up and test it out. We'll get the windows replaced, which are gonna need to be custom made, because windows like that aren't made anymore. I'm gonna need to get a rear view mirror, because there's no rear view mirror in this thing. And then get it inspected, appraised, licensed, registered. And then I think it'll be roadworthy. I think it'll be able to drive and hit the road again legally. Like, in theory, it could, like, right now if wheels are put on it. But it wouldn't be legal. It'd be far from legal. So, you know, long list of things to do. But, you know, short enough that it's like, okay, this is manageable. We can do the thing, you know? I can see the line of when it's... I can see the finish line of when it's gonna be able to go on the road. It's gonna be a lot longer before it's like the finish line of the whole project actually being done. But as long as it gets on the road, that'll be pretty darn cool. So yeah, today was a little bit of a truck work day. I'm looking for truck parts and having no luck. But hey, at least now we know where we can get a wheel hub puller. And like how the rental works and stuff. At least we know that much. So that was mostly how I spent my day today. Was the case. Many pews. So many of them. I don't know what else I can talk about right now. I don't know. It's kind of gotten to that point. I kind of wish that I could do the rubber band method and just play a different video game right now. If there's another wave of enemies after this, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna dip in there sometimes because I'm actually getting really tired of this. Are they just blocking? I'd be screwed with paying bills. That's not good. Because, you know, if you ever need, like, if you're ever in, like, a desperate situation where you really need help, you know, let me know, Guzbo, considering the insane madness that you've done around here. Know that if you ever need it, I've got your back. Oh, gosh darn it. Can't believe this. Just mean in terms of, like, how to do them? Or, like, actually not making enough to do so. Because you are working, like, a good job nowadays, though, right? Your check today, you're planning on paying for your bills as soon as you got your check, but your bank's been declining your card lately for no reason. Maybe you should go into, like, the bank itself and, you know, ask what's going on with that. You know, ask to talk to somebody and get the whole situation sorted out. Because that sounds like the kind of thing that you should, you know, really sort out sooner than later before it'll cause, like, major consequences. If there's a problem with it, like, go to your bank and, you know, ask them about it. Ask to talk to somebody and get the situation sorted out. Is the case. Don't wait for them to reach out to you. Reach out to them. That might be a little bit tricky there. The bank really isn't open during weekends. What kind of weird bank do you use then? Because what if I mean, I guess there's a lot of banks that aren't open on, like, Sundays at least. Now that I think about it, maybe there actually is, like, just a few banks that might not be open during weekends, apart from just, like, the ATMs. But I should still try to reach out to somebody there. Is the case. If it were possible to, like, pay for it internationally from, like, Canada, I'd say let me pay the bill and then pay me back later. Is what I'd honestly say. But this is a local bank, but you're planning to switch to a regional or national bank like Chase. I use Scotiabank, but that's like a Canadian kind of one there. Is the case. I'm getting so tired of this. Are you on the ground? Can I? No, I can't finish and glow you. My goodness gracious. And now that I think about it, I think Scotiabank might actually be closed on weekends as well, apart from the ATMs. Gosh dang it. But yeah. I doubt that they'd probably be like, what the heck? You read your mind? I doubt that they would, you know, be like, aha, here's a payment coming from Canada. That's a-okay. I kind of... Where did you even come from? This is actually so dumb. I hate this so much. This is the worst. This is the worst timeline. Many pews. But yeah, do let me know if there's something that I can do to help get you out of a tricky situation there. That's what I always say to close friendos and stuff. Like Anima recently, after being sick and stuck in hospital, she's stuck paying like hospital bills for a little while now because not having insurance for it apparently, and healthcare in the States in a nutshell. So she's stuck paying medical bills for a while. So I've told her like, hey, if you need help with that, freaking let me know. Especially considering like you've been so much of a generous mad lad around here that like, you know, I owe you at least that much. You know, I can help you out if you're in a pickle. And Anima always tells me that she has like a bunch of friends that say that, and she always has to say no because she feel bad if she said yes. Is the case. But yeah, let's see here. Always let you know though if they put your card on hold, but they didn't do it this time, so something's got to be going wrong. Maybe there's like some sort of a phone number that you can call, like even when the actual physical location itself isn't open. Maybe. That's an expensive dinner there, but I guess if you're working at, if you took them to the fancy place that you work at, I guess that makes sense. And $50 is a hefty tip, my goodness gracious. Discount otherwise it would have cost you almost 200 G's. Yeah, very fancy place there. After you shared the place that you work at, you know, the office where I work at, my boss is technically my mom. I work at the university that I do school at, and I work as part of a research team that my mom is the head coordinator on. And sometimes we'll have conversations about like online stuff, and you know, she quite likes being able to you know, have some good eats sometimes, and has asked about the restaurant that you work at and stuff. And as I've shared it, she'll like look it up and look up the menu while we're working there. And she's told me before, like, if we ever go to New Orleans, we have to go to the restaurant that he works at. 2 free appetizer plates because you work there. Well, that's pretty nice, though. Many pews. So many pews. How long is this gonna take? Change the menu almost every day, really. Is that just, like, dependent on what kind of a seafood stock they get in for the day? What the fishermen bring in, you could say? Is that what's going on there? How much health do these guys have? This is insane. I hate this so much. I'm gonna take a gamble on seeing if I can knock you down again. Oh my goodness, I actually did. I don't know what determines if I do or not. Did that kill? Ow! It didn't even kill. No. I knocked that guy down. Oh my good gracious, this is actually excruciating. Wait, he's dead. He'll just bonk into the wall. Time to die. Depending on what fish they bring, a lot of it is from other countries too. Huh. These guys are not getting knocked. Ooh. 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 Come on. Just knock them down, please. Yes. Yes, please. Yes. Please die. He's still not dead. How is he still not dead? Wait. Are you dead? I thought because my targeting changed that you were, but you weren't. It's a good thing I checked. And he just gets up again. I hate it so much. Actually, I had a huge lobster special this past week with 3 new entree items, and tomorrow's the last day. One of the lobster entrees is around $56. Jeez. That's US dollar, so it's a lot more than Canadian dollar. Or a lot more in Canadian dollar, I should say. Come on. Please knock them down. One got knocked down. Please die. Please. And he just gets up again. I could have sworn there was like 4 and then I killed 2. But now there's 3, but that doesn't add up. Okay, you died. Unless I just like lost track of how many there were or something. He's still not dead. Because of course he's not. Can you please get knocked down? Ugh. I hate this so much. Oh, this is the worst. Oh, this sucks. Is something being messed up? I would just say, like, call them. Like, there's gotta be a number that you can call during the day, I would imagine. Let's do October 2nd. I'd say call them during the day. Is what I'd say. Do that. Call them tomorrow and be like, oh, what the heck? What the hell's going on here? Do that. Because didn't you say that you just recently got a check? Right? So many papews. Come on, how do I knock you down? There we go. Please die. Please die. Oh my goodness, he's still not dead. This is unbelievable. But should still be able to afford it with savings, right? Because it's always good to be having some savings around. Don't tell me that you aren't, you know, keeping savings while you're doing generous Mad Lad stuff around here. So it's good that you got the one check at least. But yeah, always good to have stuff saved up and stuff. Boobity bop. Got yourself a cappuccino and made breakfast, and it seems Detroit is still not conquered. Yep. Still isn't. There's two of them and they're just not dying. I've like done this finishing blow thing a few times now and they're still not dead. Look, they just get up again. I hate this. I knocked them both down. Come on, please. Please. That one's dead. This guy's getting up again. Wow. Man, I should knock him down. Is it just random? How it works? Are you dead? My goodness, how many times does it take? This is ridiculous. Die! He just stands up again and again. Yeah, save it. I'll have enough to pay for the next few bills, but I didn't want to spend it all at once on your car. Okay. Oh, he's finally dead. Gotcha, gotcha. 10 medicinal herb times 5. It's not even over yet. The puppet priest collects the accursed prayers and polishes the vessel. 24-hour cherry playing Detroit. Yeah, playing this one challenge in NieR Replicant. Whoa, is there gotta be a cutscene here? Whoa, just in case I use this for thumbnail. Wait, no, this is actual gameplay right now. Wait, is this a shooter now? I can't jump or anything. It's a shooter now. Whoa. Okay, we went from incredibly annoying to something actually kind of different and fun. It's a first-person shooter. It's a first-person rail shooter, I guess now. May Papews. Take a picture of it if you want to see it. What, the car bill? I believe you that that's what it is. I was not calling it into question. Yeah, we're playing a rail shooter now, I guess. Ah. Too bad I'm allergic to rail shooters. That was too bad. Good thing they all get one shot with Dark Blast. But yeah, I guess we're here in Facade with the sand rail thingamabobs. And oh! Bats! Bam! So, do I lose if I just like miss any one of them? Imagine you lose if you miss any one of them and then you have to do like all of Detroit over again. Imagine how much that'd suck. Yeah, I am quite literally bringing a book to a gunfight. I guess you could say. Those Disney rides in Disney World? What, just because it's on rails? On tracks? Because that could, well, be said for a lot of amusement park things in general. Please don't tell me I missed you. It shows on the map that there's one behind me. Okay. Here, I'll turn off my inputs. Show the map. It says that there's one, like... Oh. Okay, I need, like, to pump a couple shots into you, then. Okay, so it can't just be one and done here. No, the stupid pillar! Okay, I just have to use Dark Blast. I don't seem to be getting a whole lot back for killing these guys. terms of my magic. How much health do you have now? What is going on? Please. Please. Please die. Did I kill them all? Ah. Just in case I didn't. Yeah, that hit home in on anyone, so that would still be alive. So I guess I got them all. Oh, hi. Sup? I guess there's just a boar chilling there. Okay. Wait. Other way. They're over here. Okay. Okay. This is some pretty crazy dubstep right now. I don't know. So is it just gonna be like one loop and done? Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like there. That's honestly what it felt like for the boss that I did last stream. The boss last stream had so much health that it took 2.5 hours of pumping shots into him. I found out when I cut up into parts. Well, close to 2.5 hours, like a little bit short. Because I had like the one part that was a little bit under an hour of like initially going to the boss and pumping shots into him for a good while. And then an hour and a half of playing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare while the boss slowly dies. So that one boss had about 2.5 hours worth of Dark Blast all in all. Yeah, probably about exactly that when you count that, like, during the first bit, I did start doing, like, some melee stuff. So, just in terms of Dark Blast, yeah, it probably was about 2.5 hours worth of Dark Blast was the boss that we dealt with last stream. It was probably the most health I've ever seen a video game boss have. Obtain the samurai outfit, okay. But yeah, I would say call your bank sometime tomorrow. Like, it's gotta be available to call at least, right? Sweet, sweet. But yeah. But let me know if need be. That's why you kind of dislike games that just raise the health in higher difficulties. Yeah. This raised the health and the damage that they do by a lot. Alright, there's the third door. So, I think it's the Fool's items. Yeah. So, Fool's Embrace, Fool's Lament, Fool's Accord are the 3 weapons for the DLC thingamabob. So, Fool's Embrace, yeah, Fool's Lament, and then Fool's Accord. I guess it'd be the last one here, yep. Alright, one more door to go. Let's get Fool's Accord or whatever the heck it was. Wait, no, actually, because I need to go stock up on healing items. Yeah, let's go get my things back. Boss took you almost an hour to beat? What, this past one here of just like Detroit? I wouldn't say that it's a boss. Imagine if I talked about the difficulty modes and the health changes with difficulty.
Something wrong? I feel as if
that much of a difficulty thing. Alright, let's go get some healing items. And I'll save. Now that I know that this game can freeze. Like I did that one time. There we go. It's officially October! Spooky month, woo! I feel thoroughly spooked now. So spooky. By the time this gets published, NieR Automata will have already been out on the Switch for a while. Yeah, it worked out. Alright, bam. Purchasing these items. Yeah, cool. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, there would be that. Alright. I need to get... This isn't my... Oh, it is my spear. It was just seeing it from a weird angle where it looked like it wasn't quite.